Thank you kindly. All right, here we go. Everyone needs to take out their notebook for today. Tomorrow, you have your focus, spice, and mapper all due tomorrow. Please make sure they're ready to go. Friendly reminder, your Barron's book is due a week from Thursday on the 29th. And it needs to be in this room with you on the 29th. If you do not have it with you, cut my class. Because I will lose my damn mind. And if you don't believe me, test it. So, this needs to be here on the 29th. This happens to be the 7th edition. This is the most recent one on Amazon. I bought another one this weekend. No one has said they needed me to purchase one for them, so I haven't purchased anyone. I bought a couple of AP Psych books, so I'm assuming you guys are good then. Everyone should be able to buy it. If you wait till the last minute and go to Barnes & Noble, Barnes & Noble will run out. And then you'll be running through all of Tampa looking for a stupid book that you could buy on Amazon for cheaper and get it delivered to your house. Yes? Don't be dramatic. Order the damn book. Who has their book? Oh, I'm so proud. Oh, I'm so proud. But some of we still don't. It's in the mail. I'm so proud. Yeah, I'm so proud. So, everyone needs to have it a week from Thursday because we start review a week from Thursday, which is insane, which is so exciting. We have 6 weeks of review in 4 days. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, we have 6 weeks of review in 4 days. Huh? There's 6 weeks of review. In those review weeks, some of them will be right. So, we're going to have a good time is what I'm telling you. It's going to be great. So, please make sure you have that. Tomorrow is your test. 25 questions, 24 minutes. Everyone good? Your mock exam is on the 7th and on the 28th, 8 a.m. in the cafeteria. Please make sure you've made those accommodations. Today, if you are doing a black or gold card tomorrow after your test, all of your makeup work needs to be in today. If you're not doing a black and gold card, you can turn in your makeup work by 3 o'clock tomorrow. Is that fair? Absolutely no excuses. I will be closing my grade book at 3:05. All right, here we go. If you didn't take a picture of my board, I definitely would. Because like I said, I'm going to teach you Cold War really quickly today. All right, on your whiteboard, let's go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the U.S. president for 90% of World War II? Come on. Who is it, Zach?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
There you go, FDR. On your whiteboard, please tell me, who is the Prime Minister of England during World War II? Who is it, Jang-Hao? Winston Churchill. On your whiteboard, please tell me, who is the leader of the USSR during World War II? Good, Grishma. Stalin. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the official start of World War II? What is the official start of World War II? Good. What is it, Peyton?
The invasion of Poland on September 1st.
1939. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the date and the event that pulls the United States into World War II? What is the day? What is the date? We talked about this. As an American, you should just know this.
December 7th.
What year?
1941.
Okay, what is it?
Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941.
You need to know that as an American, yes?
Watch FDR's. Well, I don't know the date.
You need to know the date as an American, okay? You'll be made fun of at a bar one day because you don't know this information. It's like common knowledge. I'm just trying to help you out in your social lives later because really this information is kind of useless now. You're going to pass your exams, you're going to get your college card, and that's great. But some things you just need to know for life, you know? Because you will get made fun of if you don't know what the public space is. Not knowing when Pearl Harbor happened. I'm just trying to help you out. In about 10 years, you'll be like, thanks, Bennett. I really appreciate it. On your whiteboard, please tell me what, after the fall of France, what is the only country fighting Hitler? Who is it? Ryan? Britain. On your whiteboard, please tell me what does blitzkrieg mean in English? Good. Adi. What country was the lightning blitzkrieg used on first? What was the first display of blitzkrieg? First full display. What is it? Oh God, we got a lot of answers here. What is it? Haley, thank you. Poland. Where was it practiced? They had pieces of it. It wasn't fully. Do we see the difference between the two? What is it? Munson. Spain. On your whiteboard, please tell me, Germany signed a non-aggression pact with what country? Germany signed a non-aggression pact with what country, Colton? Soviet Union. They promised two things, that they wouldn't invade, and what was the other thing they agreed to divide? What is the other thing they agreed to divide? This is on your test tomorrow, by the way. What is it? Alex? Divide Poland. On your whiteboard, please tell me. What do we call when Germany is bombing the hell out of Britain relentlessly for 6 months, but 3 months of it's 24 hours a day? What do we call it? Head on my board. It's when Churchill really rose to his prominence. It's actually not a very creative title, people. Think about it. Ryan, what is it? Battle of Britain. Yeah, it's a test question tomorrow. You're welcome. It's not a very fancy title here. On your whiteboard, please tell me, Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union, breaking his non-aggression pact, was nicknamed what? What is it, Raina? Operation Barbarossa. On your whiteboard, once the United States joined World War II, where is the first place the United States invade and take over? This upset Stalin. Where do they head first? Good. Christian. Africa. Once they conquer Africa, they then launch into what European country next? It falls very quickly, and Mussolini's dangling from a street post wearing a dress. That's how he gets caught. He was wearing a dress. Dressed as a woman to smuggle himself out of Italy. He gets caught. They butcher his body, cut off some important things, and leave his body dangling. Who is it, Callie? It's Italy. There you go. And what is the first major assault on Hitler directly called? What is the first major assault on Hitler called? It also happens to be the largest land, air, and sea battle in human history. Good. What is it? What is it, Elizabeth? D-Day. It's Deployment Day, not Doomsday. You're not wrong, though. It's a good name. It does apply pretty well. All right, what day is D-Day? You should also know this. So when you're standing in a bar in your mid-20s, you don't look like an idiot. Oh, we got a lot of wrong dates here. Still a lot of wrong dates. I don't have anyone who's got it right. 45. Did I tell you 44 yesterday? That's 45. June 6, 1945. Because the war ends very quickly thereafter. In Europe, at least. All right, on your whiteboard, please tell me what is, after the peace in Europe, what front are we still fighting on? After the peace in Europe, what front are we still fighting on? What do we call it? Come on. Good. What is it, Patrick? The Pacific. On your whiteboard, please tell me. What is the name of the U.S. president who replaces FDR when he dies in office about a month before the end of the European front? Who is it, Gunnar? Truman. On your whiteboard, what is the name of the turning point of the war in the Pacific? It is over an island that has an airstrip. It is a major battle. It takes like 3 months to eventually win. It's a huge turning point. Karishma. Battle of Midway. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Truman decides to drop the only 2 weapons we had, and they are called what? He dropped them in order to bring the war to the quickest end, save the most American lives. What are they, Cal? Atomic bombs. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the first city he dropped a bomb on. First one is what, Dylan? Hiroshima. On your whiteboard, what is the second one? Good. What is it, Callie? Nagasaki. On your whiteboard, what is the name of our ability to decode the Japanese code? What is our ability to decode it? What is it? Jamal? Magic. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Alright, I have a couple. Cool. Good. We're in a good spot. Alright, I do have a couple things if you look at my board over here. So, the end of World War II. If you haven't taken a photo of it, good. I have a couple things I want to add to it because we did cover a good amount of it. So, the use of atomic bombs by Truman. He convinced Japan to quit. He needed to convince Japan to quit, so he did it for psychological reasons as well as to save American lives. So he decided to drop the bomb at the Potsdam Conference. You need to know that for your test tomorrow, by the way. Fun fact. The Potsdam Conference is when Truman, Stalin, and Winston Churchill were all told he's going to use it. Okay? This is a big deal at the Potsdam Conference. He announces to his 3 allies that he's going to use it. Do you think Winston Churchill knew? FDR and Winston Churchill are best friends. Winston Churchill was sobbing hysterically during FDR's funeral. He literally cried at the front of the church for like 5 minutes in open sobs because he lost his one true friend. That's what he announced. It's the most beautiful thing. I've already told my husband that's the eulogy I would like. McCrae says I haven't done anything worthwhile, so why would anyone do that for me? It was very sad. And so, do you think that Churchill knew about our Manhattan Project?
Yeah.
Yes. Who did not know of the 3? Who do you think got really pissed at the Potsdam Conference? Stalin. Is that going to cause a conflict? Yes, it's called the Cold War. So the Potsdam Conference. Now, who can raise their hand and tell me what is the name of the secret project we had building the atomic bomb? You do need to know that for tomorrow as well. Gunnar? Manhattan Project, we talked about that yesterday, did we not? Okay, so Manhattan Project, you do need to know it's where a secret coalition of scientists were building the bomb. So, Okinawa, Midway is the turning point for the U.S. victory. Okinawa, I don't think I made this point clear yesterday. It is a big deal because it showed that the Japanese were never going to surrender. The Japanese were clearly they were clearly overwhelmed, and they just kept fighting. So this is it shows the United States that it's not going to be easy to take Japan. This is going to lead Truman to make the decision that he's going to drop the atomic bombs, because if they won't give up an island like Okinawa when they're clearly outnamed, they're never going to give up their home country. Does that make sense? So Okinawa is a big point for that. Japan surrendered after the second atomic bomb. You're going to see containing communism is going to be done by the Truman Doctrine. Now, containing communism was keeping communism only in the Soviet Union, okay? So, Soviet Union could do it because, frankly, they were allies and they helped each other win the war, yes? So we didn't like that the USSR was communist. We said, screw it, you can do it. Just don't let it spread anywhere else. Post-World War II, did it spread other places? Oh, yeah, it spread all over the world. I mean, we got Cuba, we've got Korea, we've got Vietnam. All these other places are catching on to it. China's starting to pick up some of these ideas as well, as we heard before the war, and now they're really going. So, the Cold War is from 1945 to 1991. If it starts in 1945, it immediately follows what war? There you go. Now, it is important for you to know, MacArthur was our general in the Pacific. Eisenhower was our general in Europe. Both MacArthur and Eisenhower told FDR and Truman that they should just turn around and attack Russia and defeat the communist threat immediately after we win the war. They wanted to attack. What did Truman eventually decide? No, let's not do it. Let's not openly invade. Remember, millions of people have died in war, so they're trying to avoid war. So that's why there's no direct open conflict in the Cold War. However, there's going to be deaths on both sides during the Cold War, which we'll get to. So the U.S. feared the spread of communism. It's a war between communism and capitalism. That's what the Cold War is. We got a lot of espionage, which is pretty cool because one happened last week. Did you hear about the spy in England? He got poisoned to death. What do you... This is like the craziest time. It is so cool. It's scary.
Yeah.
Scary. They think it went through the air ventilator in the car. That they left something in the car ventilator, and then when the air conditioning got pulled, it was poison, and it killed them within like 30 seconds of inhaling it. Yeah, 99% of the world has agreed it's Russia, except Putin's like, we would never do something like that. Okay, so containing communism, we're using the Truman Doctrine. Truman says that if any country wants to be capitalistic, democratic, the United States is here to support. Any country that becomes communist, you are an enemy of the United States, and we will do whatever we can to eradicate it. Okay, so that's the Truman Doctrine. Trying to stop it from spreading. It did to a degree, okay? It tries to stop it from spreading. Communism is going to spread, and we're going to see it with war in Korea and Vietnam. A lot of our soldiers who went to fight in World War II are eventually going to be redeployed in Korea and redeployed in Vietnam. Vietnam's a little bit later, but Korea, my grandfather fought in both World War II and in Korea. Okay? So, no direct combat between the USSR and the US. However, both sides are going to support opposing sides. So it's a pawn war. We're going to support one team, they're going to support the other. Perfect example of that is in Korea. We're, right now, today we started war games. In South Korea, the United States and South Koreans, we practice drills together, like invasions and how to fight off invasions. We call it war games because no one's dying. How do you think the North Koreans feel about that? That we're literally showing off our firepower, our skills, and stuff like that. Does that make them happy or sad, do you think? Very sad. Okay, so the USSR is going to pick North Korea. As we know, they're communists today, sort of. I wouldn't say anyone's equal there. Versus the United States, who are going to support South Korea, who are still allies of ours. Afghanistan, the USSR is going to weaponize natives in Afghanistan, and they are going to give them weapons in order to defeat the British. It actually works! This is one of their crown and glories. The USSR, they're very proud of this, which is why they're going to try doing it in multiple other places. It's not going to go so well, but it is successful in Afghanistan. Cuba is going to turn communist. Who's going to lead the communist revolution in Cuba? Castro. So Castro is going to be depending very heavily on the USSR. Well, the USSR is going to be giving Cuba missiles. Have you heard of the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Yeah.
These missiles were pointed right at the United States for 9 days. The whole world held its breath thinking that the United States was going to go to war with Russia over these missiles in Cuba. It's a whole bunch of tense. Who is the sitting president? JFK. So, Cuba, the big thing you do need to know for tomorrow's test is Bay of Pigs. Kennedy, trying to eradicate this communist influence 90 miles off the coast of the United States, what he's going to do is he's going to arm Cuban Americans and Cuban immigrants to the United States. They're going to train them. The U.S. Marines are going to teach them how to fight. A U.S. Navy ship is going to drop them off on the coast, and they are going to go ahead and retake the island. Kennedy said no American would touch the shores, but we will do overhead bombing for you. So the day of Bay of Pigs comes. They're on their boat, they're going, the U.S. Navy ship drops them off, And they go onto the shores, and they're sitting there fighting, and guess what never shows up? Aerial support. Guess what happens to all those Cubans? Killed. Any person on the island who is related to any of those people, guess what happened to them? Killed as well. So, it is they estimate about 100,000 people were killed during this. Okay? And that's Cuba, Bay of Pigs. And then you have Vietnam. Both sides are actually present. They're fighting this little Ponzi scheme kind of thing, but they're both present. And it's all out fighting with the natives over it. Vietnam is the one war we never won. Okay? We ended up saying we're out. Okay? With a whole lot of shame on this one. A lot of terrible things. Did any of you watch The Post? It was good, right?
It was an awesome movie.
It was so good. It was so good. It's about the war in Vietnam, how 4 presidents covered up the shadiness of what was going down there. How it was a complete charade. The U.S. knew that all of our boys were dying, and they didn't stop it. They just didn't want to lose. No, it's not. It was a good movie. Fine. Zach, you have excellent taste. So, Vietnam. There you go. So
they took me to see it.
oh, there you go. All right, so your next thing is the creation of the UN. It's going to occur in 1945, obviously post-World War II. It is started in San Francisco, and it has a military. Why is it important that we're pointing that out?
Because
Why? Why, Colton?
League of Nations did. That's why it failed.
There you go. League of Nations had no military to enforce its rulings or anything. That's why it's failed. So they're like, hey, we're going to fix it. So the League of Nations is still around today? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It actually just passed a really interesting thing. It said that the United States owe all former and descendant slaves reparations. Isn't that interesting? That is so fascinating. Reparations are, here, I'm so sorry. Let me pay you money as an attempt to apologize. Is that fascinating? No? What does interest you people?
Do you think they'll do it? I mean, do they have to acknowledge the UN?
I would not say the Trump administration, if I had to pick, would say yes. You know what I mean? I don't know if Obama would do it, but I would say more likely Obama than Trump, you know? But who knows? Who knows? All right, so de-Stalinization is happening in Russia, okay? Stalin's going to die in like 55 or 56, okay? It's going to begin with Khrushchev. Khrushchev is the first guy post-Stalin, okay? And he begins making the USSR more capitalistic. Why would he start making it more capitalistic? How is Russia doing post-World War II? Terrible. Terrible. Their communist economy is not working. One of the biggest reasons why it's not working, it's such a damn big country. So it's not working very well. They have a lot of issues, and obviously they're trying to recover from war. It's not easy to recover from war. Yes? So they're struggling. So Khrushchev comes into power, and he starts making things a little more capitalistic. Then you have Gorbachev, who starts doing glasnost and perestroika, which is called openness, which they're making the both political and economic more open, which means a little more transparency, less hidden courts. Don't worry, they still have the KGB. The KGB is like, who are the Nazi KGB? Yeah, the SS. You've all heard of the SS from the Nazis? They're extreme fighting force. They're the ones who would go get you in the middle of the night and murder you in your house or in your front yard to make a message. The KGB are doing like worse than that. By the way, Putin was former KGB. Yeah, you're welcome for that. All right, so they're going to start making Russia more open. Your USSR leadership, I thought this would help you keep it kind of in order. You got Lenin, Stalin, Khrushchev, then Gorbachev. Gorbachev's still alive and kicking it. He's as cranky as you think he is. If you watch The Daily Show with John Oliver and Jon Stewart, they interviewed Gorbachev when we were doing the Russian Olympics. Hilarious, by the way. God, he hates America. Alright, there you go. That's the Cold War. Next week when we're covering stuff, it's the end of empires. We're going to go a lot more into detail in the UN. We're going to go a lot more in detail into USSR, but that's all you need to know for your test. What?
How soon after America did Russia develop nuclear technology?
We gave it to them. Yeah, we were forced to give it to them. Think about it. This is going to be a big thing that we have, right, Cade? we are, the UN is going to force the United States to give away our nuclear technology. Why would the UN force the United States to give away some of our UN technology? Jing Hao? Yeah, because essentially we're the only one who has it. We're holding the whole world hostage. True, not true. Now, I'd feel better with us having it than some other countries having it. You know what I mean? Because I'm in this country. I don't, hopefully we don't blow up ourselves. So, however, the UN was, all the other countries agreed that someone had to keep the United States in check. So who did we start giving it out to? Our friends, the French, the British are going to get it first. We're going to argue for a long time, for a very long time, about giving it to the Russians. And keep in mind, the Russians are also trying to get it on their own as well. And then after that, we start spreading it out to smaller countries. Like, for instance, India has it. Pakistan also has it. Keep in mind, they hate each other. Israel is going to be created in 1947, so they're going to get it. And then, of course, some of their rivals are also going to have it. So now we live in a world where it could happen anywhere. All right, to the boards real quick. On your whiteboard, please tell me what Cold War conflict was the closest one where the U.S. and Russia almost directly fought. Good. Come on. What is it? Karishma. Vietnam. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the greatest conflict for the Russians? What was the greatest conflict for the Russians? Because it was a clear, successful victory. What was a clear, successful victory for the Russians? Good. Come on. What is it, Mailu? Afghanistan. What was a complete faux pas and made the United States look like a complete disaster and completely disorganized? I'll accept two answers. Good. What is one, Jamal? Vietnam. The other one is what, Patrick? Not Cuban Missile Crisis, baby pigs. Baby pigs and Cuban Missile Crisis are not the same thing. They're like 5 months apart. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the date range of the Cold War? Good. What is it, Carlota? There you go. Now keep in mind, guys, the Cold War, the closest we ever got to direct fighting is in Vietnam. But there's a lot of espionage. We're killing spies. We execute two people who we thought were spies. Can't think of their names at the moment. Someone know? We hung them in 1958 or something. A wife and a husband who we thought were spies. There's a lot of craziness. Like my parents would remember hiding under their desk in case of a nuclear attack. That's going to really help if it goes off. Because they're living right inside Boston, which was a major target. Because we had one of the first reactors in Boston and Harvard. Cambridge was one of the big places where they were supporting all this technology, so it was a big target. My parents would not have made it, friends. They were less than 10 miles away, yes.
I was going to ask, has anyone here seen Bridge of Spies?
I know, that's another good one. Yes, that's a good one, right? It's all espionage and all that stuff. It's cool. There you go. Saving the world. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the conference where Truman announced and officially decided to drop the atomic bomb? Good. What is it? Daniel? Potsdam. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what was created in 1945 in San Francisco and has a military? Still around today. Good. What is it? Cade.
United Nations.
United Nations. All right, how much time do I have? Hello? We don't know. Oh, Pearl Harbor. All right. How much? 10 minutes? Perfect. Let's see if it works before I kick you out. I just restarted my computer, so it should work, because it worked for a second when I did it. Let's see. And if it works, you people are out. It's not going to start raining until 10, so you're fine. It's going to be a bad thunderstorm today. Did you know that? You are well informed there, Christian.